You are now listening to the most electrified and vilified podcast on the net, Hot Topics Podcast. Let's get this party started. Welcome everyone to the Hot Topics Podcast. This is your host, Psycho4081, and I'm here solo with my guest today, Penelope Plantkiller. So we have Lamb Chop is out for the day, still handling some personal business, and Bologna's Feather is out for the day. She got rearrested for stealing some pantyhose out of the dollar store. I keep telling her to stay out that dollar store, but she got rearrested, and we're going prayers out to her. Maybe she'll get her thing fixed. I think with some pantyhose and some like a hair scrunchie. So yeah, she was arrested. So how you doing today?
I am doing well. No complaints whatsoever.
Outstanding.
I shall not complain.
You know, we have good weather now. I'm energized by it, honestly.
Me too. I love being in the sun when the sun is out. I mean, it's a little cloudy here. The sun is in and out here on the Eastern Shore, at least in Salisbury. But it's just such a beautiful day. But I was thinking this morning, you don't know how to dress in Maryland this time of year, because 2 days ago it could be 2 degrees, or you can actually go down here on the shore through the whole cycle in one day.
Yeah, same here.
You wake up with a winter coat by by noon. You got on a little spring jacket. By 3 o'clock, you might have on shorts. You know what I mean? Like,
now, are you
the whole thing?
Are you near the ocean? Like,
yes, I live like maybe 20 minutes.
Oh,
away.
okay. So you're getting that whole ocean weather, which is separate from the okay. That's not bad.
Yeah, like those storms that you normally get up north when they come down, by the time they get to me, because I'm on the lower Eastern Shore, they fizzle out. But the ones that come from the south, oh yeah, we getting all of that heat. We getting all of that, the snow, all of the rain, the hair, all of that. We getting all of that.
I got some updated news. This is, we might have to have a Trump watch, because there's always something new coming up. So apparently, This is from 2 days ago. Trump administration pulls research funding to protect pregnant women from domestic violence. So, they're chopping everything. And it just seems to me that he's chopping all the things that benefit regular people, women and minorities. He's not chopping anything, not doing anything drastic that harms, wealthy people. It's kind of like in the reverse. So, I just let you know that, the next time you get pregnant, you don't, count on Trump jumping in there to give you any assistance.
Well, listen, I didn't think that he would give us any assistance anyway, but that's our story. I feel, I feel some kind of way about it on both sides of the fence, right? Mm-hmm. One side of me as a woman, I'm appalled that you even trying to be in my business. If I get pregnant, what I decide to do with that pregnancy, that's a decision that I should be able to make depending on what my circumstances are, right? So now you're forcing women to have babies, but you're cutting the programs that are going to help them, because these same fathers that you're, giving license to go ahead and beat her tail.
Right.
You know what I mean? So now she has if it was me, I have no type of protection from the law, from somebody who could potentially kill me, hurt me, or kill this child that I'm carrying. 2, I may have made the decision to have that abortion because I don't want my child to be in a domestic, violence environment type thing. I feel like, these older white men, middle-aged white men, like, listen, the time that you want us to go back to, that's not happening. But
Right.
the sad part, as a woman, I'm disappointed in the white women that voted for him. Y'all sitting there with your bedroom talk with your husbands, and you're saying one thing to the front. Oh, girl, yeah, you know, I'm going to support girl power. And then in the back, you don't let your husband honeymoon you right into voting the wrong way. So like, part of me, we really don't have no sympathy for you, but I have sympathy for women of color
Mm-hmm.
and other people that don't look like us that are really going to suffer. And then you open up the door for all of those backdoor abortions. Women are going to be dying. You're taking us back so many steps. And for real, God willing, I will be 57 in August, right? I was
Woo!
thinking the other day, that's a generation ago
Right.
that we even have the liberties to have some of these rights that we have.
Mm-hmm.
So it's amazing to me that nobody really listened and paid attention because you don't do your research.
Oh,
You know what I mean? So when you don't do your research, this is where we are.
Mm-hmm. I had a
This is where we
conversation
are.
with one of the state senators here in Maryland, and I said this before. I happened to be in a place where they were talking about something, and I knew the inside information. I knew the truth, and I told him. I said, your opponent, because it was during election time. I said, your opponent doesn't worry about telling the truth because he knows nobody's going to research it. So, unfortunately, in politics, we're at the point where lies can be easily spread because nobody's going to challenge them. Nobody's going to read anything. So if you post stuff on social media or whatever, nobody's going to read the actual article. They're going to look at the headlines, and that'll be it. So, it's just unfortunate now, we are getting attacked in all aspects. And, when it comes to domestic violence, I'm just waiting for what is it called? They have a whole department or a grant that take care of domestic violence and violence against women. That's what it's called. The Violence Against Women Act, VAWA. I'm just waiting to hear what they're going to do with that. And, that's unfortunate. Like, even the people who need it most are being attacked. So,
Yeah. And like as a woman, I've been in a relationship, was in a relationship, where I was, abused. And just to think that this joker would take away the protections of a woman. What you're saying is that you don't care about your daughter. You don't
but
care
the
about your
one he wanted to,
mother.
the one that he said he would date.
That one. That one. But who's to say, like, hey, you might be stripping that law because you want to be smacking women around behind closed doors. I mean, like, it's it. The crazy thing is, I don't even think he's intelligent enough to come up with this stuff. I feel like it's somebody behind him that's
Absolutely.
pulling the strings. He's just a daggone puppet. You understand what I'm
I
saying?
agree.
You're not going to tell me that he's that bright
I agree.
to come up with some of these things. I mean, it's just a sad day, not only for women, not only for people of color, but for a country.
Yeah.
It's sad to know that my neighbors really are ready to see a different type of country. And, people should be mad. They should be upset. But let me tell you, on another note, being upset, I'm not going to nobody's march. We didn't do that. I voted on the right side.
Right.
You understand? And it's not even about her color. It was the fact that she was a woman.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So you won't catch my black behind out there so that they give them another excuse to go ahead and, be throwing tear gas and attacking us just because, calling out the National Guards. No, sir. No, ma'am. Not me. No. And I want all my peoples like, no, stay at home that day. Do something. Learn to play with your cats. Learn how to read a book. I don't know. Don't go out there.
Well, now, because of this, we're gonna talk about something. First of all, let's throw this out there. I don't know if you know Richard Chamberlain. He played in the TV series Shogun, the miniseries. He passed away recently. So R.I.P. to him, and he's been in a lot of stuff. They called him the king of miniseries or whatever, but I just got notification of that this morning. And one of your favorites, Johnny Mathis, made the news. He's saying that at his age, he's going on his final tour. So if you want to get in there and jump on the Johnny Mathis train, you need to do it early. But we're going to talk about personal safety, and it's important. Obviously, don't need to talk about why, but now even more because all the safeguards are being stripped away. So we're going to talk about personal safety, and if you have any questions or comments, just jump right in there. And I'm going to ask you some questions too. I'm going to test your knowledge of general stuff, just to see if regular people out here in the in society, on the public, are actually being aware and doing certain things. Okay, so there's two different types of crimes. There's crimes against person, crimes against property, right? So this is a focus on crimes against persons, like example, murder, rape, robbery, assault, and those victims that are always individuals, not anything like theft, burglary, which is stuff that's taking money and breaking into your house. We're not talking about any of those. We're talking about personal stuff, because that is the one thing that you cannot get back. You can get a car back, you can get a wallet back, a purse, whatever, but you can't get your life back. You can't get the trauma back from being assaulted. So that's the focus of today. So crimes against persons, they're basically why we want to tell people these things. They carry a high potential for injury. So one of the things that we would always, and I'm saying we as people in the law enforcement field, says physical resistance by the victim may escalate the violence used in the crime. So avoiding confrontation is always the best way to escape physical injury. Again, you want to make sure that you're not hurt. That's the important thing. And just imagine some of the things that could happen once somebody comes at you, like on the street or in your home, and when you fight back. And there's going to be certain circumstances where I'm going to say where you need to fight back. But what are some of the things that could happen just by stuff that you've seen in the news or even personally experienced?
Well, it's crazy that this is your topic, because I just saw a video today of a young woman who was on a New York train with her sisters. They had just called their dad to let him know that they were en route home. Well, you can see it on the cameras that they have in the train and on the platform. The young lady gets off the train. You see the guy, white guy, male, with looking at her. He gets off the train. When she gets off the train, he adjusts his clothes. He go down and he pulls out this knife that you wouldn't really see. You know, it was small. The next thing you know, he stabs her repeatedly. He leaves the train station. Now, all of this, they got all of the footage of it. Leaves the train station. As the police is coming, he acts as if he's a witness to what just happened and says someone is hurt. So the police goes off to assist with the person being hurt. This joker runs to it looks to me like it was a construction site, but they have like a dumpster or whatever. So he runs over there. He changes his clothes. He leaves the bag where he was. And then he, takes off everything, put on another sweatshirt, takes off everything. And then he hops on the bus like he's disabled so he could get on the bus or whatever, like he has this injury. So he gets on the bus and, hey, I don't even know if they found him.
Wow. So they don't know if it's a planned attack or...
It looked to me as if he singled her out. I don't think that she knew him or anything. From the way that I saw it, my point of view, I don't think that he knew her.
Okay.
I just think that she was a black woman, and he he wanted to do her harm for whatever reason.
Okay.
Like he singled her out. And for me, I was thinking to myself, girl, you need to be more aware of what goes on around in your surroundings. And my husband used to always say that to me, like, you need to pay attention. Like, oh, did you see me behind you driving the car? No, I didn't see you because I was focused on what was in the front of me. I wasn't paying attention to the back of me.
Yeah, and you know it's unfortunate in this society that you even have to do that. You know, we're at a place where you can't feel safe or comfortable or relaxed out in the street because we see all these heinous crimes being committed. But that to me sounds like, even if she wasn't targeted specifically, that he had it planned, because nobody thinks about all of that just as a spur of the moment. I'm gonna change my clothes and jump on a bus and all that other type stuff.
It definitely was planned, because the knife, when on the surveillance footage that they showed, they showed him reaching down in his pants, like he was adjusting his sweatpants, and that's when he pulled it out. And you could see it, like, because it was so busy, the average person, he probably could have stabbed a whole bunch of people as they walked by. Because it was just that small. It was, and then and then the way he did it, he pulled it up. He kind of just tucked it up under his shirt just a little bit, and then he walked up to her and just stabbed her.
Was it many people on the platform?
Yeah, it was enough, because like she got off the train and she started walking, like, you know how, and she was with her sisters, and I'm assuming her sisters were in front of her. But, you know, like people exit the train, you know, get off the train and onto the platform and going to wherever you're going. So with all of the hustle and bustle, yeah.
Oh, so she wasn't even alone in the dark. That's kind of crazy, because if you're that confident or that brazen that you can do that in a busy area, or somebody who's not even alone, you know, that leads me to believe that he may have targeted her, or he got some serious mental issues going on with him, you know, and she's probably not going to be the only one.
Well, listen, the way that Joker was moving, I wouldn't be surprised if this would not have been his first time harming someone.
Ooh, well,
you know, that looked like some. When I was watching, I was like, oh, this is some FBI. You know, like that little series they have on that. I thought I was watching a movie or something. The way that he, you know, but it was definitely planned out. Whether she was targeted or if he was just going to do that to whomever that he found to be the weak, because she wasn't but so big.
Right. So she didn't even have a chance to fight back, even if she could.
No, she was unaware. And that's when I was saying to myself, girl, you got to be more aware of what you do in your surroundings. Be more, because I'll get out of the gas, go to a gas station, think nothing of it. You know, lock my door, go in, but I'm not necessarily paying attention to what's going on around me. I didn't look at pump 2 to see if it's somebody on there. I'm just focused on what I'm doing.
Right.
You know, and then with all of the distractions, let's just say, and she wasn't on any type of device, you know, she was focused on where she was going, focused on getting off the train and going.
Which is but sort of normal, you know, comparing the fact that she wasn't alone in a dark alley or anything like that. You know, it's like, well, who's going to come up? And to be honest, in that situation, it pretty much could happen to anybody. You know, so that's, so let's say, all right, I'm not going to put you in that situation, but, and I said physical resistance against, you know, any suspect should be avoided only when property loss is, you know, the biggest ramification of the crime. If it's you know, if it's something that has to do with your life, all bets are on the table. All bets on the table. And people always ask that, well, you know, what if somebody did this, and this? And I tell them, I said, if it's going to cost you your life or serious bodily injury, it don't have to be life threatening. It could be serious bodily injury. All bets are on the table. All bets. But we don't want people to, you know, go out there and use devices, you know, that they're not proficient with. So that always comes up as well. So like, let's say a gun, pepper spray, knives, batons, any of that. If you're not proficient with it, don't use it, because what happens? That becomes a weapon for them, right?
Yeah.
So, like to tell people that even police officers, that all the stuff that they have on their uniform, their belts and all that type of stuff, the Batman utility belt, whatever, every single thing on that officer, they have to be trained for and certified. Like, I'm seeing, but they'll have the obviously the gun, the handcuffs, the ASP baton, that the thing that extends open, taser, pepper spray. All of them have their own separate certification. So you have to know, basically, if you're using pepper spray, and I highly recommend pepper spray because that works. But if you were to use pepper spray, can you tell me some situations where you may not want to use it?
Well, let's just say, hypothetically speaking, because you don't know when some violence is going to pop off. Me, I don't even own pepper spray. I need to get some, but I don't have any. If you're in a situation,
so, or for example, you have pepper spray, right?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's coming at you.
Mm-hmm.
And when do you think using that pepper spray would not be a good idea? It's two basic things that I'm thinking of.
Well, if he has some type of weapon,
boom, there you go.
They can unalive me instantly.
Right.
So I don't know if I have time to even be thinking about pulling out some pepper spray.
Right. So if the person has a gun and they're threatening you, whatever, and they're not in a close distance for the pepper spray to even work, then obviously
Right.
you don't pull it out. But here's something that people miss. When you have pepper spray and you spray it, you got to worry about where the wind is going.
Yeah.
So you go try to spray it on somebody, unless they're like right up on you, and you're going to get it too. That wind could be swirling, or the wind could be blowing against you, and that pepper spray actually go to you instead of that other person.
Right.
So you have to worry about those type of things. Also, like just about any weapon, if you have a baton, if you don't have the strength to use it or the skill to use it, they basically snatch that from you. Now, you on the ground getting whipped by the baton that you brought.
Right.
So
right.
those are things that we always, like to tell people. Also, you want to factor in the area that you're in. So let's say, and I always think of the dark alley. That's, all the stuff you see. In a dark alley where, something could happen and nobody will ever know. Nobody's going to hear your screams or your whatever. You use whatever you got, because why not? What's
Right.
the worst that can happen?
Right.
So you definitely, that's good. Also, talk about the pepper spray. Would you use it if it's in a crowded area?
I don't think you should.
Oh, absolutely. You know why?
You should. Why?
Because once you spray that up there, everybody's scattering.
Oh,
Everybody's
got you.
scattering,
Okay.
right? So
Okay.
that's not a bad situation to be in. Also, when you're talking about weapons, let's say you have a knife, and I'm not saying people should have a knife or sword carrying with them all over the place, but if you have something like that and the other person has a gun and you're not right up on the person, and that term comes in, don't bring a knife to a gunfight.
Right.
Exactly. But if the situation is that, if you're close proximity to the person, that you can, grab the person even though they have a gun and you have a knife, then that's a little different than the person with distance. So you got to think of those things too. We talk about physical resistance. Are you going to have the wind to fight somebody off?
That depends on the size of the person.
Exactly. But no, even somebody my
it-
size, I'm 6'6", 270 pounds, right? In my dream.
So, wait, what?
He's like, well, when you get some inches on? So, but if I'm a big guy, I might not have the stamina to be fighting with somebody. So as a person that's being attacked by me, you might be able to say, this is a big guy. He probably can't, go more than 2 minutes. So you might be able to handle it. But if you see a guy who looks like they're in shape or whatever, and you're the person who can't go 2 minutes, then don't worry about fighting off. Unless, again, if it's a life and death situation, then you definitely, want to fight until your last breath. So,
Yeah.
but you always got to be aware of that. And, don't try to, use martial arts if your only training is, Saturday morning or Saturday afternoon Kung Fu theater. Well, I saw him doing it on the Matrix, and what's that, Jason, he did it, and no, don't do
Yeah.
that.
Right. Right.
Now I'm gonna tell this story later on, but I'm gonna have my brother on here, but about the time that he got into it with this guy outside of Walmart, and he got roundhoused in the side of his head.
What?
Yes. I'm gonna let him. I'm gonna let him tell a story because it's hilarious. But he didn't expect somebody. He was like, he's a black dude. What black dude kicks? So we gonna go over that, but but you don't know your capability as opposed to the other person's capability. So just unless your life is being threatened, then just comply. And something what you just said earlier. One of the things you gotta have the hazards. You gotta recognize the hazards around you.
Yeah.
And we always see the movies. People, well, I'm gonna take this shortcut. I'm gonna, walk down the train tracks, where nobody's going to see you. There's no lights. You're gonna go down the dark alley instead of walking on the, the road that's well traveled.
Right.
You got to worry about those things. And then, just about like if you're walking and there's things that people can pick up, those hazardous things like pipes or a construction site. Construction sites make the best scary movies because they got everything there. Right. So you got to worry about that. Basically, is you want to just kind of pick up this crime prevention mentality, and again, it's bad that we have to have this in our society, but things happen where we have to. Now, do you do walk? You walk? I used to do videos, right? Mm-hmm. So
I did walk lately because of the weather, and because I have like 129 jobs. But now that the weather has broken,
you're going back to walking.
About going back to walking, and I've been kind of low on. It is kind. I haven't really been on social media in the last month or so, over a month now. Mm-hmm. Just trying to, get some things, in order, and trying to decompress a little bit. But I have a lot of little stories when I start my walking and talking. So.
But now you walk. Do you have a particular time that a particular routine that you do walking?
I try to switch up my route, my path. I try not to go the same path all the time. Each time I try to kind of alternate, because I can go to the left, to the right, or straight.
Okay.
Depending on what I'm hitting, and come right back around. Mm-hmm. But I don't want to be in a habit that maybe somebody is jogging or whatever, and they jog that way every day, and they see me going the same path every day. You know what I mean? I try to go into a different way, sometime into my complex, a different way in than what I went out.
Okay, and that's smart. That's smart. That's what we'll always tell people, because you don't want to be able to have somebody else forecast. And people observe a lot of things. They know, well, especially like somebody who's a stalker or somebody who wants to date somebody. I know they run every day on this particular way at 3:00. I'm gonna put myself there. That happens. We are creatures of habit. I don't know. I am. I go the same way to work. When I used to work, I go the same way to go shopping. So. And sometimes I do it not even thinking, like I just do it because that's how I, when I zone out, that's what my body tells me to do. So that's a good thing that you're doing. Always, change it up, even change up the time. But do you go out when there's daylight, nighttime?
Now, Stefan used to fuss at me a lot, or, because I used to be a very early morning person.
Mm-hmm.
So, like when the sun is coming up, so it's still kind of dark. And when I had a dog at the time, the dog said, "Listen, I got to go out." So I'm
Right.
on his time frame,
Mm-hmm.
because I'll be mad when he's using the bathroom in the house and it be nobody fault but mine. But when I had a dog, I felt a little bit more secure about walking
Mm-hmm.
because at least he'll make a sound and try to halfway do something. I mean, he was a little thing, but he's a yapper, so
Not he's not
so
going to scare
he'll
nobody
yap,
off.
he'll yap you right to death. Um, so and then there are days that I walk if I'm off or something, I might walk in the middle of the day, and then sometimes I walk in the evenings when it's kind of getting dark. But I do, when I'm sitting here talking to you, I'm running through my head a whole bunch of unsafe practices that I do.
Ah.
Like when I get home from work, it's dark,
Mm-hmm.
and I have a tendency to sit in the car when I get home.
Okay.
I don't know what's that about. It's I'm just in the car,
De-stressing or
right?
taking it. Yeah.
And sometimes I can be in the car 30 minutes, 45, just kind of getting lost in time, just kind of, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So Stefan hates when I do that. He's like, I don't know what that's about. Get your ass in the house because it's dark outside.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know who could be watching you. You still got to go to your building, blah, blah, blah. And I never really thought about that piece.
Right, because you can give somebody time to react to what you're doing. They know, they can see that she comes home around this time and she sits in the car, or I'm watching you sit in the car. Then that gives me a time to let me get in my spot, because I know she's going to walk down this path and make a left into the such and such. So it does give
Yeah.
somebody, and not just that. It's like, for some odd reason, there's this thing where people like to walk up on people's cars and try the door, or
Mhm.
take the car. So they think the car is not occupied, and they come up on the car and they see you in there. And then that presents a problem. Maybe they'll run. Maybe they'll say, "Oh, my fault," and play it off. But you don't want to put yourself in a situation like that. So, but
Right.
I'm gonna run over some. These are the things that I would recommend personally. I'm gonna say we. I always say we. I'm gonna say I would recommend and I'm going back to my days when I was in the Navy, right? So we used to go to different places all over the place, and they would say, "Don't go to this area." They always call it the gut, and every place had the gut. This is the wildest place that you say military personnel do not go. So what would we do? We're gonna go to the gut, right? So one of the things is you need to walk confidently. You got to know where you're going, keep your head up, and walk with a purpose, because now it makes it look like you belong there, not just somebody who's wandering and who's lost, right?
Right.
So when you're going through a place and you look like you're lost, that says target.
Hmm.
Also, if you are lost, we want to tell people to go to a public place and ask for directions. And men, we hate asking for directions, but you want to do it at least in a public place. Go to that police station, obviously, the 7-Eleven, go to the library, the hospital, those places, because you want to have people there all the time, in and out, in and out. And guess what? They have video cameras, and they're open 24 hours a day, like the 7-Elevens and the hospitals. Please, they're open 24 hours. Tone down your appearance. Like, I know some people want to go out there and walk and wear the tight this, and or wear the jewelry and the big earrings and all that other type stuff. You're basically an advertisement for come get me. I need some extra change. And then one of the things, which is the dumbest, like I said in the movies, avoid shortcuts. Avoid the alleys, the secluded paths, the ones that got the trees and the bushes on both sides that you can't, see, and places that provide concealment. So they always do that in the movies. And horror movies are the best training videos of what not to do. So
Hmm.
think about that. So now, what if you're walking and you think that someone is following you on foot? What would you do? Or what should you do?
Well, knowing me, I can't run fast, but I'm gonna walk fast, and I'm my when I carry my keys. My dad used to always tell me to keep the little witchamajigget through my fingers
Mm-hmm.
like that.
To
So
use as a
should
weapon.
somebody run up on me, he also told me if you can, you go straight for the eye.
Mm-hmm.
because when something goes in your eye, automatically you gotta kind of whatever.
Right.
But I don't know if I'm a fast enough runner. So if I start, I might get got.
All right. So let
But
me
if
tell
you
you.
run up on me, I'm gonna do my best to try to. If you grab my hair, I got about a 5 second, 10 second chance because this wig is coming
It's coming
straight
off.
off. So if you grab me by the hair, I got a few seconds.
All right. So one of the things, though, a lot of times people, I'm going with the people who are paranoid, right? So that they may not be following you, just you might think that. So one of the things you want to make sure that they are, you want to cross the street. If you cross the street and they cross the street, all right, that's clue number one. But also, you want to look back at them, let them know that you see them, because it may change their minds once they know the surprise thing is out the window.
Right.
Also, you can do is change directions. So if you get 1, 2, 3, and they're still doing the same thing, chances are you're being followed. Now,
Okay.
what if you're being followed? Where would you go? Let's say you had the opportunity to you're somewhere. Where would you go? Some good places to go.
Well, if I see any stores open, I'm gonna go in the store.
Okay.
If I feel threatened enough, and if it's some type of housing or something, I might go knock on somebody's door.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I would say go into a place in areas where you see people.
Yes. Yes. For sure. Now, do you normally carry a phone?
Oh yeah, I have a phone.
Okay, so you would call 911 obviously first,
Yeah.
and then some of the important things you would want to do is the biggest thing: location, location. Like you're a real estate agent, right? Location. You have to know where you are, because once you call, you make that 911 call. You want to make sure that that even if they don't know what it is or who it is or whatever, they know the location. They know where they can start going automatically. So you want to know where you are at all times. Like, and then we have a habit of this. We walk down the street and don't know what street we're on or where the cross street is. So if you're walking, just take notes of the street. I'm on Main Street, coming up on Second Avenue, whatever. So that's the first thing that you do when you call 911, because what they're doing, they're still typing the information out and sending it out. Even though you haven't given out everything, they're typing up the information. So if anything happens, they know where to start. You want to get a good description of the person, the best description that you possibly can give. That means, you're never going to, I'm going to say never, because women are always better than men when it comes to giving descriptions, right? So women typically, oh yeah, he was about 6'2". He had on blue jeans, a gray T-shirt. He had this little symbol on his arm, and he had a wedding ring and some scuffed up sneakers that was blue, and a raggedy haircut, blah blah blah, right? So men typically, I don't know, they was anywhere from 5'2" to 6'2". They had all dark clothing on, and I don't know. That's how it usually goes. So basically, you want to definitely get the clothing. That's first, right? Age, approximately. Don't be specific with everything unless you specifically know. Oh, it could be a teen to young person. Because some young people look old, some old people look young.
Right.
You want to give them this description of the pants, shirt, hat, face, complexion. Now, the race is a little bit hard because you have light skinned blacks that may look Latino, or you can get that mixed up. They might be Asian and might be Hispanic. So you can give them a complexion, and say possibly this, or this. If they're saying anything, you can give information about if they had an accent or a type of voice. But basically, the clothing description, approximate height, like if they had a hat on, if you're close enough where you could see the mouth, if they had like gold teeth, missing teeth, or whatever, things like that, But by that time, they too close. You're
Right.
probably going to be falling to the side, running, whatever. But Those are the things you want to do, and make sure you call 911, and don't worry about is it serious enough, because that's what they get paid for. 911.
Right.
If it's nothing, good. They don't have to make a report. I mean, it's something that they just put drive to the area. But if it's something, you want to get there before the bad things happen. So
Right.
that's definitely. Oh, one thing I wanted to know too, like not so much this day and age. People don't flash cash as much, except for the young ones. They like to flash cash and put the cash stack up to their ear and do all types of stuff, whatever. But don't be in the habit of flashing cash, especially on social media. That's just an invitation to to get robbed. That's just it. That's just how it is.
That don't even make sense to me. I don't have enough cash to flash, so
I don't
I'm
like for me.
trying to when I see it, I be like, "Nah, you ain't got that cash. Because if you had it, you wouldn't be flashing it."
I'll say, well, I could jingle a pocket full of quarters, but
Hey,
you'd be
I ain't even got
surprised.
quarters. I work every day for the man. I work every day for the man.
Even people when they go to the supermarket, right? They go through the line, they're paying for their stuff. And they pull out this big wad of cash and they're counting it out, and take that little bit of money that you have and separate it from your wallet.
Yeah.
And so everybody knows how much food is going to cost, or if you go into the store, how much in that range what you're going to have, and if possible, use a debit card or a credit card. So you can something happens, you can get that money back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now you drive, obviously.
Yes.
Okay. Do you lock your doors when you're in the car?
Yep. As soon as I get in, I lock it.
Okay. And let me tell you what happened to me one time. I think I was going to pick up my daughter. I'm not sure who it was, but I pulled up to the supermarket, right? And I didn't have my doors unlocked. Obviously, I'm waiting for my daughter. So somebody gets in my car. They thought I was there to pick them up. So I guess we must have had like similar, I guess the car that was. So this person just jumps in my car. I'm like, and they said, "Oh, I'm sorry." So not only it was embarrassing for them, but it made me think like that quick. They opened my door and got in my car. What if they had a gun, or they could take my, something along those lines? But lock the car. Lock the car. Now, when you're out in public, where do you typically park? Do you have a specific place you like to park? Or what would you recommend? I'm going to put it that way. What would you recommend where people should park?
Well, I normally always, we don't have choices, but I'm always in a lot, but I park in this because I'm lazy. Always, if I'm going to a shopping center, I'm parking close to it.
Close to wherever the door.
Close to wherever I'm going.
And then, everybody does that.
Yeah, I want to run in and I want to run out. I try to typically park in the same lot where I work at.
Okay.
Because it's for, staff and administrators, faculty. So, I really don't go a lot of places. When I go downtown, I park close to wherever it is I'm going.
Okay. So, here's some things to think about. And like I said, you can get all this from any horror movie that you could think of. Obviously, you lock your doors. Park in well-lit areas. Obviously, that's for your own safety. Have your car keys in your hand as you're getting to the car, so you don't have to sit there and linger, fumbling with keys and stuff like that. Give people time. One of the things is, too, you want to check the interior of your vehicle before you get in. Give me a reason why.
Somebody probably could be up in there.
Exactly. So it's funny when people, I'm going with the movies, you get in the car and you about to crank the car up, you look in your rearview mirror and there's somebody sitting in your back seat or this rope goes around your neck. That always happens, right? Check the interior of your car. Obviously you want to check the underneath your car as well. Not for somebody hiding under there, but people can put stuff under your car, like bottles or nails or whatever, so that maybe they know you're going to be disabled later on going down the road, right? And nobody wants to deal with a flat tire or whatever. So check, and that's the hardest for anybody, because I don't even do that myself. But really, you should look under your car or look by your tires.
Right.
If you're And if you're driving, right, you want to make sure that you stay on the main roads. If you think you're being followed, don't go home, right?
Right.
Why would you not want to go home?
Because now they know where you live at. You inviting
Bingo.
them around.
Go to a police station, hospital, even I would say fire department sometimes, but firemen they sleep, but go to one of those places that is going to be 24 hours, light, video cameras, the whole nine, and people, walking in and out. But police station is probably the best, and hospital's probably the next best because they also got security as well. Right. Let's say have you ever had a car break down on the road?
Really?
Yeah.
Absolutely, I have.
Now, what did you do when that happened?
Cry, panic, call my stepdad so he could call AAA. I stayed in the car though because it was on the side, and that was on the side of 795. Oh, and one time I had to break down coming from that side of the bridge to this side, and yeah, but I stayed in the car until the tow truck got there.
So was it daytime?
Yes, both incidents were a day. Yes.
So one of the things that's good that you did that because this happened on 795, I think last year, where somebody got ran into by a passing car. They broke down on the side, and I guess they must have been halfway in the road, and boom. Can you imagine that? Yeah. So stay in the car, put your blinkers on, make the calls. Also, make sure you keep your cell phone charged because a lot of times there's nothing worse than breaking down and then you don't even have the way to call somebody because then now you're at the mercy of somebody who just happens to stop by. Hey, you need help. Now, if that should happen, they'll say, well, hey, can you get out of the car? I would say, don't get out of the car. Say you're waiting for help, or, just thank them, nicely and say, I'm waiting for somebody. But you can ask them to call the police. That's one thing you could do, instead of them, you don't want to give up your safety thing.
Right.
That's don't step into the road. That's one of the main things.
Yeah. On those easy highways, I would think that you would.
So on a little bit more about the car safety thing. Now, some of the things that we do, especially men, that check engine light that comes on that you ignored for the last 2 months, get that fixed. Always have check your tires, check your oil, and those check engine lights. So you want to make sure those are taken care of so you don't get, broken down in an inopportune moment. So that's something that we all should do, maintenance wise. I'm a big violator of that. My gas light is on now. But guess what?
My gas light stay on, but my engine light was on. I had taken my car a couple of weeks ago. Just got my car back yesterday. Taken my car a couple of weeks ago to get an oil change, and with that, the engine light came on. So I called the people back and was like, "Listen, I got my oil change there yesterday. They said bring it back." So what happened was somebody didn't. Put
the cap on
thing that goes around the cap. They didn't have it all the way snapped down, but the young man put the little thing up into, plugged the little thing into it to find out what was going on with it, and it said that I had some wires that was misfiring. Oh, okay. Yeah, we had to get that straightened out immediately because one, it could start a fire, and two, I need my vehicle.
Well,
I don't know why men y'all just be riding around, but my gas light stay on. I said 20 miles. Oh, that's plenty, but I know I need to start keeping my gas.
I've been many times where it was like 1 mile to empty. I'm gonna tell you the most embarrassing thing, right? And I'm always telling people this, that, don't let your car, get down to whatever, right? So there's one time I said, all right, I'm 0 miles to empty or 1 mile to empty. Let me go ahead and make it to that gas station, right? So, cause now I'm feeling like my car might be stalling a little bit. So I go down the street and I say, oh, there's a Wawa. I'm safe. Pull into the parking lot of the Wawa. My car died about 10 feet from the gas pump. So the most embarrassing thing about it was I had to, open my door, stick my foot out, and kind of push my car up to the to the pump. So
Well, at least you made it to the gas station.
yeah, but the other couple times I did run out of gas, but I was in my driveway. So, either way, and it's not even good for your car if you let the gas go down that low. You should always, if you get down to a quarter tank. And I know most women, they get to half a tank, they gas in their car up. Guys are like, oh, I got 3 miles, or I got 1 mile, but they really say 1 mile, but you actually get more. Yeah.
Right. Listen, I was coming to work today and I looked down. The gas thing, I heard the beep. So I looked down and said, oh, I need gas. And it said 20 miles. I said, oh, girl, that's plenty. Get gas when you get off of work.
Oh, I am notorious for that. I'm like, well, let's see. I'm going only 5 miles away, and it says I got 6.
More than enough for me to get there and back home. That's just
Until
laziness, because it's not like I ain't passed 29 gas stations.
well, until you get in that, and this happened to me again too. And I was lucky. I've been the luckiest person. I had 1 mile to empty, and I said, all right, the gas station's a mile away. However, guess what happened? Traffic jam. Yes, so I'm lucky on that one. That I found a way to get somewhere else, but definitely keep your gas tank filled up at least halfway. Now, when you're traveling, always let somebody know where you're going, like the way you're going, in case something does happen. So one of the things I know my mother used to say when I used to drive down from Jersey or whatever, let us know when you get there, right? And I thought about it, I said, well, what if I don't? Are you gonna retrace my routes? You don't know which way I go. So the thing is, if you're going traveling, let somebody know which way you're going to go, because that helps tremendously. If you were not to make it there, they can at least call the state police in several states or whatever, or one state, whatever, and have them, check a road, right?
Right.
Because I could be honest, like if you say, if we're going from, let's say, New York to Virginia, that's a lot of distance. That's a lot of states in between, and nobody's going to look every possible route,
Yeah. Well, the good thing for me, my nieces and nephews, they drag me for not having an iPhone, So I finally gave in a couple of years ago and got one. But I'm tell you what, I ain't getting neither near another one. I'm gonna have this one until I can't push neither another update to it, because they cost too much. A phone should not cost this much money, but like my sisters, Christine, and then my cousin D, they all have my location.
Okay, the location sharing.
Yeah.
Very good. That's a
Because
good
just in
thing to
case,
have.
like D is traveling now. She's on the beautiful continent of Africa, And I was when she left to go, I was like, yeah, we're gonna need your location. You're gonna have to put that on, because we need to know. Wait, so making sure that you got to your husband safely. You know what I mean?
Right.
Making sure that you were delivered to him.
Right.
So
They have some really good apps. They got Find My iPhone. They have something that I would use, and I use
that.
my kids. They what's it called? It's called Life 360. That one will actually let you know when your phone, the person's phone, is low on battery. It'll also let you know the route that they took, and and it lets them know, alert you when there's a accident. So if you ever get in an accident, they could tell, and they'll let you know. So
okay.
I highly recommend, and we're not getting paid by Life 360, but I highly recommend it. So, but again, like carry a fully charged cell phone. You want to try to stay on the busy streets, the streets that's well lit. One of the things I would tell people, when they were driving, they would like to take the back roads or whatever, especially when it's like winter time. You a back road driver? You are. But let me tell you, the back roads, they usually get icier first, right? So if it's inclement weather, they also have where trees will come down, and they're going to be unreported because it's less traveled, unlike a main road. So you want to stay away from those back roads. Plus, there's plenty of things that can, the deer, the dogs, the rocks in the road, anything that could leave you stranded, and then it's harder for somebody to find you. So
Right. I don't take the back roads in the wintertime down here because of those very reasons that you gave. And
mhm.
they don't have shoulders, they have like straight ditches. I mean, like
Right.
in there. Like, so if you go off the road, it's a done deal. But in the spring and the summer and in the fall when it's not very cold, I take it because it's just a beautiful ride. They got the
Mhm.
horses, so you get to see the seasons change. And I be wondering who is planting what this year. You know,
Right.
it's beautiful, but I never and I found that route because there was a accident on the main highway.
You detoured.
And I was with a coworker and she was like, yeah, we're gonna go this way. And then once I learned that route, if I can stay off of the highway
Mhm.
and get to work a little bit quick, it's for me, it's not even about getting to work quicker. It's just about the beauty of the ride. I just
Right.
love that ride.
So, and that's cool too. Like everybody likes to take the scenic route, and especially you don't have to deal with the always the thick traffic. But just consider the weather and the
Yeah.
time of day. If it's dark, when most
Oh,
people
not
are not
that one. I can't see that
right,
well in the dark.
yeah, that's yeah. I feel you. I'm the same way. Just stay on that well lit road, and
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
what's some other things that and with driving? What would you say? Oh, valets. Let's say you driving, and this is not so much personal thing, but make sure that if you given the keys to your valet, you take your home key off. Okay,
Okay.
because people can make a copy of that in a matter of minutes.
Got you.
So, and then guess what? They got the registration in there. If you're carrying your registration like you should, they got your address. Now they got a copy of your key, and they know you're away, or maybe they want to, catch you when you're there. So,
Right.
something to think about.
Okay.
And that's pretty much. I mean, we can go into bus safeties, and you don't ride the bus, I'm sure. But let's say for those listeners who are riding the bus, obviously it's you got to be alert to what's around you. You're at the bus stop. Always be around. Look around. Try to avoid the isolated bus stops. You know, the one that's on that dark road, ain't nobody around. The ones you see in the movies, like what was that the one with the great big insects. Don't open your purse or your wallet while boarding the bus. Have your pass ready because you're getting on a bus that has a lot of people or somebody seeing you get on the bus. Common things: keep your jewelry out of sight. Don't flash your jewelry. And you guys with these big diamond rings, those are times where you twist your ring around so you don't have those diamonds shining and stuff like that because obviously they glitter.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you're getting on a bus during the off hours, you know, you want to ride obviously close to the bus driver as you possibly can. Don't go sit in the back like most people where things can happen and whatever. Now, I've never ridden a bus in this city here, but I can imagine from what I've seen that you see in the movies again that if you get on a bus and you're sitting next to somebody who starts bothering you, what are you going to do? Change your seat. Change your seat and let the bus driver know that that somebody's bothering you because they can put that a little alert thing on their bus that says the police. They can have them come to the bus. But definitely want to do that, and hopefully you get that bus driver that uppercut that girl who spit on him. That one, I don't know if you remember that. You remember that one? He said, "You going to jail now? You going to jail?" Uppercut. Wow, that was a beautiful thing. 'Cause she did everything in the world to disrespect this man and spit on him. I don't care. You spit on
Yeah.
somebody,
Yeah,
whatever.
that's you don't open the door when you spit on him.
Yes,
Because
absolutely.
that's out of order. That's just so out of order. Yeah. I remember when I used to ride the bus, I had to be on the bus very early. Uh was had we at one point we had two cars and went to one for a little bit and I had to be at the bus stop really early.
Mm,
But my husband would take me and would stay with me until he saw me get on that bus.
that's
And
the way it's
then
supposed to
he
be.
would be there in the evenings when I got off
Okay.
to pick me up. so I wouldn't have to worry about being alone,
Right.
out there. Uh-huh.
And like I said, the bus stops are easy, easy target, because the
Yeah.
person's alone and they're going to be there until the bus comes in. And most people know the bus schedule if you're, hanging around a bus stop.
Right. And
Um,
down here it's kind of weird. Their bus stops are really weird. Um, like back home you had bus stops. They may like be on a corner or
right.
in the middle of the street. You could like they're very easily identified. No, they off the highway. Like you just see the bus pulling over. So you like, well, what is we pulling over the side on the shoulder for? Oh, it's a bus stop.
Oh,
Who'd have known?
Jersey got that too. And you in a rural area, and
Yeah,
you
that's
drive
how.
down this road, and you see this little thing that says, "Why is this person standing there?" Oh, it's a bus stop in the
It's a
middle of
bus
nowhere.
stop. Yeah,
So I think people like that, maybe they don't have a choice, but if you can
yeah.
avoid it, then do that. And then one of the things too I wanted to talk about, and this is something that I always thought about too. When you're in like the office areas, most people, you want to know your emergency exits, and especially if you're working late or after hours, and make sure those doors are locked. You don't want people roaming around. Now I've seen this where people got into a building after hours and they were just going from office to office stealing. But that could be also if you're by yourself in this office and you confront somebody, then that could be a different situation. So you want to make sure that doors are locked, and if you have a security person, alert them to, let's say, I'm leaving at this time. So if they know that you haven't left yet, they can go check on you. So
Right.
that's important. And lastly, ATMs. Everybody in the world has automatic teller cards, right? And they use ATMs. So when you're using ATMs, try to do it during the daytime. Obviously, don't count your cash at the ATM. This is the time you're gonna have to trust the machinery, or because you don't want people knowing that you're actually taking money out. They're gonna already assume that you're taking out, because who goes to an ATM except to take money out,
Right.
right?
Right.
So, now one of the things too, again, look at your surroundings. Don't go to at ATM machine that's have a lot of people, suspicious people, questionable people around the ATM machine. Obviously, go to, like, say, a supermarket where it's inside,
Right.
or any place where it's
Right.
inside. And then one of the things too that kind of puts you in an awkward situation. Let's say you go to an ATM machine, right? And you know how you got to swipe your card to get in. Now somebody might be waiting for you, and you swipe your card, they want to come in too. When you see somebody waiting out there, like they, for some odd reason, go to another one. Take the extra time,
Okay.
because you don't want somebody, the last thing wait for somebody to come in with you, and then you're doing your transaction and they know what you're doing.
Right. Okay.
So go someplace else. And then apparently some people have a habit of putting their PIN numbers on their debit card.
That's dumb.
Yeah, very dumb. Don't do that. Not, that's after the fact that they take your stuff, whatever. But just, think about those things. But pretty much everything that we talked about was basically common sense stuff.
Yeah.
But the things that we just don't think about. So, what's your gas tank on right now?
I didn't I tell you a few minutes ago I had 20 miles? So I got here and it's probably on like 15,
50.
15. And I was like, that's plenty. Because on my way to work, I stopped at the store.
See?
And then I came here and I was like, oh, girl, you had plenty. But no, I'm going to get gas. I'm going to
Okay.
get it. And
Okay.
I'm going to remember what you said. I'm going to try to keep it on half. I just be busy. And the craziest thing, like I said, is I drive past gas stations
Yeah, we all
to
do.
get here, but I don't know what that thing is about. I just be like, oh my God, I'm so behind. No, I'm always late for everything. I don't know what that's about here lately, but it's getting on my nerves. But
You know what it is
yeah,
for me?
huh?
It's not even like I like to wait till I just be mad that I gotta go to the gas station so often. I'm like, didn't I just put gas in this truck?
Yeah.
it seems like I'm going to the
Yeah.
gas station way more, and I'm like, I just don't want to deal with it. I'm like, I visited you already this week. Why do I gotta
Right.
come see
Right.
you twice?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I'm like, what are they putting water in the gas? Like, I don't know. Like back in the day, you can get gas, you could fill your whole. I remember, for real, for real. This how you know I'm old. I remember when gas was under $1.
Oh, me too.
I remember that. And I remember the moment that it got to $1 that I was like, oh my God, I can't believe the gas is a whole dollar.
Listen, I used to drive up here to
For them
Baltimore
days now. You can
when,
fill your car up with $10 back then.
yeah. So look, I used to drive from Southern Maryland to Baltimore every day when I was in the police academy, right? And it would cost me $20 a day. So when the gas went up to $1.04, I had a connect. I'm like, $1.04 for some gas? Are you kidding me? But now we look at it. And when it's under $3, be like, oh, good. This they got good prices. you know?
You were
Yeah.
like, oh, 3.95. Oh, it's under
Yeah.
$4. All right,
Yep.
we cool this week.
That's
Calling
the trick
everybody
they play with
calling.
us. That's the trick they play with us. So I'm gonna thank you for coming out again. As usual,
Oh,
you're always a welcome guest or co-host.
yeah,
And
I don't want to be a guest. I want to be the special co-host.
okay,
Stop calling me a
you
guest.
can be the
One minute
special
you got me
co-host.
as a guest, the next minute I'm a special co-host. Make up your mind.
All right, we have our special co-host Penelope Plantkiller. We might come out to your side and maybe you can just sit down together with us and take the microphone, or if you come in to this side, to stop in and take a seat with us. So
Sure, like we could set it up. We could set it up. That would
yeah,
be so much fun.
that would be nice. I think, and it's last week we had some teens. I had actually two teen girls come in, and then one was on Zoom. And I was trying to coax them into doing the podcast to talk about school violence, but when they saw the setup and they got the headphones on and the microphone, they was like, oh, and all of their hesitation went right away. So, and they were natural.
Oh, that's
Yeah, they
awesome.
were natural. I'm proud of them for that. But yeah, we'll hook up.
Okay, that sounds great. And
'Cause-
thank you, as always. Thank you for inviting me on. We always had some interesting conversations, and I learned a lot today. And it's just crazy how the universe, like, because I literally just saw that video that we talked about like
mhm.
today.
Yeah.
And then you send me the invitation to participate. So the universe is telling me like all of this is relevant. You know what I mean?
It
And
all
that
works
this
out.
didn't. Yeah. So I will definitely pay more attention to my surroundings. And I never even thought to look up under the car or even look at my tire,
Hmm.
around the tires, what could or could not be there. So, thank you for that insightful invite, the advice that you gave me, gave all of your listeners, because it definitely will help me out
Oh, one
moving
more thing
forward.
too. We talked about the pepper spray, right?
Mhm.
There's the stun gun, which is legal if you're over
Okay.
18. When I tell you they work, they work. I got firsthand knowledge of that because I did something by mistake and I felt my hands, wiggling and vibrating for 3 days. But they're not that expensive. But they have ones that look like they actually dual purpose. There's a flashlight
Okay.
and a stun gun. They got ones that are cell phones. Like say if you were in that situation, you can put the cell phone to your ear. Nobody's gonna think about it, and you flip that button. The cell phone becomes a stun gun. Let me tell
What?
you, yes, they got a whole bunch of stuff out there. Because I gave some to my co-host. Actually, I gave them both stun guns. And now that my daughter is 18, I'm gonna get her one. So when I throw one in for you, and my next round of purchases.
Well, thank you.
But they definitely work, and
Okay.
even if when you do the zap, people hear that zap,
Hmm.
that puts them on notice. So
Okay. Okay.
so we're gonna our
Yeah.
we need a word of the day because this is still March, our last episode in March, and give us a word of the day.
Safety.
Safety. Okay, so
Yeah.
today's word of the day is safety, and you guys can follow us on a multitude of platforms. I'm not going to name them, but if you go to www.hottopicspodcast.com, and that's HOTTOPIX podcast.com, at the bottom is a whole bunch of links that you can, if you want to, find us on Spotify or Apple, iPod, or, all those other Deezer, you name it, we're on there. Or you can just follow us and subscribe to us on our website. So the good thing about the website is, we can give you notifications about all the different things that we're doing, where we're going. There's pictures of us in the community, and I just opened that up. And there's also listings of our contest. So we have a contest. We didn't promote it so much, but it's the referral thing. If you get the person who gives us the most referrals for the year, we'll invite with us on a 3-day 4-night trip to the Caribbean, like a Caribbean vacation. So even yourself, if you have people that you want to invite to come subscribe to our website, when you go there, you put in your email, you have them put in their email, and there's a box in there that says referral. Tell them to put your name in there and send it to us, because at the end of the year, we're going to tally, how many referrals we have, and whoever gives us the most referrals or subscribers, we're going to actually, invite them on our, 3-day 4-night trip. And maybe it might be all inclusive, but I think all inclusive might have to be 70s. I'm not sure, but we'll figure it out.
Well, listen, I'm getting ready to tell all my people stuff. Listen, y'all know I work hard. I'm going to need y'all to go ahead out there, subscribe to the website.
Hey,
because I need a vacation. I need a trip. Y'all know I work 11,000 jobs.
Well, that would be a nice opportunity. Now I say 3-day 4 nights, but if it happens to be longer, it'll be longer. I'm just saying at a minimum, it'll be 3 days 4 nights. So
listen, it could be 24 hours for me. Just to get away and say, "Ooh, I'm free for a day." Yeah, okay, yes, I will make sure that I, let my peoples know. Go ahead out there and subscribe. Y'all really should. This is a wonderful platform. I love being on your show. You always talk about informative things, and every time I walk away, I'm walking away with something else that I'm thinking about that I hadn't thought about before. So I just love what you're doing. So keep on doing it.
Well, we got some good episodes coming up. We still have to do our one on fetishes and fantasies. We it was another one I'm trying to remember, but that's definitely coming up. Oh, the one we're gonna actually have one on Trump. One of our listeners actually recommended, hey, can you guys talk about that? Because I have a lot to say, and I'll come on the show. I said, oh, sure. So I pulled up as much information as I could, and that's coming up down the line too. So you guys stay tuned, follow us. You can also catch us on Facebook, Hot Topics Podcast. We have a page there. And I'd like to thank everybody for following us. Have a good day.
Have a good day, everybody.
Thank you, family, for listening to the latest episode of Hot Topics. As usual, listen, like, share, subscribe. Ta!